President Joe Biden said recently about the IMEC,
Yes.
and this is exactly what we've been talking the last couple of days, the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. And he said that Hamas's attack was actually aimed at that. The IMEC was the biggest takeaway from the G20 summit in New Delhi, and Prime Minister Modi also spoke about it recently. Everyone's keen on ensuring that the IMEC is not a casualty of the conflagration in the Middle East. Joining me to talk about this is Professor Sriram Chaulia, Dean and Professor of Public Policy at the Jindal School of International Affairs. Professor Chaulia, welcome to the News9 Plus Show.
Thank you.
Tell us what you're seeing right now. What is the state of play with the countries that are, the kind of statements that are coming out? Is it Cold War 2.0 already?
Look, it's a major regional war, no doubt about it. And the number of players who are involved is tremendous. I mean, you look at the combination of forces on both sides. So definitely West Asia or the Middle East is in flames, and it doesn't look like it's going to quieten down anytime soon. So to that extent, yes, the quiet regional connectivity and diplomacy which were seen to be making progress have been halted. And I think Saudi Arabia has publicly announced that the normalization talks with Israel are off for now.
Right.
So the effort to create some kind of a moderate coalition of Arab states that will ultimately not only legitimize Israel but also create room for cross-border cooperation, trade and liberalization, all these things
in fact, that's
have come to a
what
halt.
we've been talking about a lot. And just days before this October 7 attack, the Crown Prince Abdullah said that every day we are getting closer and closer, talking about the peace deal with Israel. And now every day we seem to be getting further and further away from that last piece of that jigsaw, which is Israel-Saudi Arabia peace deal. Is there the possibility of an IMEC corridor without peace between Saudi Arabia and Israel?
Well, geographically, if you see the IMEC, the plan, it was to connect western coast of India all the way up to the port of Haifa in Israel and then across the Mediterranean into Europe. So you are going to lose that chain if these two countries are at loggerheads. But actually, if you take a longer view, in spite of the war, I think this is there's going to be a pause with IMEC, but not a complete stop, simply because the core interests of Saudi and Israel are still aligned.
Right.
It's just that Saudi, as the custodian of Makkah and Medina, for them to be seen to be hobnobbing and to be normalizing with Israel at a time when you're seeing these horrific pictures of the destruction of Gaza by Israeli bombing, it will not be palatable for Saudi Arabia's status as a so-called leader of the Islamic world. So they go to, but they're very pragmatic. Behind the scenes, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the whole leadership, they just want to find a way to expand business and economic linkages across the region, to move out of dependence on oil. Mohammed bin Salman has a so-called Vision 2030, which is to diversify away from petrochemicals and to move in a different direction. So all these things, and then they have other fears of the Hamas type of radicalism also taking root inside Saudi Arabia and challenging the monarchy itself. In earlier eras, they had a fear of Al-Qaeda. So they have never supported forces like Hamas because this kind of radical Sunni Islam is seen as a threat. So I think ultimately they will patch up with Israel, and ultimately IMEC will go forward.